Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Glitch Pokemon Blue. Today we're going to pick up where we left off from last time. That was on this item here, G. And if you recall, we use up the item and this happens. And after that we leave and our game crashes. Not very helpful, but I can show you how to avoid that. So if you remember from last time, we obtained the expanded item bag using the dry underflow glitch, and we entered the Celadon Looping Map. As you can see here, here's the cancel button. And down below this is all the extra items we got from the expanded item bag. I'm just going to reload because it's faster. And one of the properties of this is that this slot here is 35 and this is 36. And the important thing is, for one of the most obvious is, when we move left to right, this item changes based on what X position we're on, as you can see there. And if we go up and down, the quantity changes. It actually just alternates from 1 to 0. And it's based on like what line you're on. So on this line, if you will, or row, it's 1, but on this one, it's 0. And so on the ones that it's 1, we actually consume the item completely. We can even toss it, not this one though, because it's a key item technically, which is why the quantifier is not there. But on this one, you can see we can toss it and there's just 1. However, we go over here, there's like 0, or technically 256. Another thing to note is that you can see in the item 36, or the slot 36 if you will, it's J, which is actually index 00, and then we have Master Ball, which is technically 1, and that's why it also alternates but from left to right, if you will. So on this one it's 0, but on this one it's 1. Like I said, Master Ball corresponds to 1 and J corresponds to 0. So now, there's our item right there. Stay on this line because it's best for that. And here's our first glitch item we're going to start off with. Alright, let's get started. So, it's called Weasel G, but that's actually not the correct name for the item. It's actually rival's name G. My rival's name is Weasel, so you can see there. And if we use it, it's similar to the last one, which I should say was a super repel. This one is a max repel, essentially. And if we use those, you'll see the map gets changed a little bit, and that has to do with the quantity changing. Like this will even happen if we just toss, as you'll see. Like, don't want to do that. If you just toss like 5 or something, the map will still get all messed up. That's just based on the fact that we're removing items from that slot. Let's see if we can. This is another possible item to get that weird old man like transforming NPC effect from last time. Let's move on. Now we'll get another G item. This one's a bit interesting. It's an oak item, but in battle it acts like a dire hit. But what's funny about that is the dire hit is broken in this game and essentially worthless. Because normally what it's supposed to do is increase your critical hit chance by 4 times essentially. But in here, it drops it all the way down to 1/4, so 25% chance of critical hit, so it's practically worthless, and really no point using it. Then move on to the next one here, which is QG, which is really, it's just useless, because it's an oak item, so oak won't let you use it inside battle or outside battle, as you can see. We're going to move on to OG. OG is another Rivals Effect item. If you remember from last part, we had a lot of those. And here, it acts like Eliminate as well. When we try to heal, it'll give us the rival effect you can see there. And since I was on the wrong line there, as you saw, it closed out of the menu, or when I closed out of the menu it crashed and it got rid of the item and basically took me out of the expanded item bag. Although it still exists. Like I still have the expanded item bag. Not like it matters because I can't keep it once I leave. So like I said, the best way to avoid that is to go on the, I'll call it the even lines if you will, since 0 is not really even, I guess. But 256 is, so 256 is even and this is odd. Anyway. We're going to move right along. We'll yet again get another G item, just slightly different in what's displayed there. You can see it's another Rivals Effect item and acts like a Lemonade. Nothing too special that we haven't seen, other than the fact that you can use it to get like walk through wall effects, if you will, and then you can revert it just by doing this. And then the map will look weird, but then you can just kind of, like once it reforms, if you will, like re-registers. Although that's not entirely true, as you see right there. I'm pretty sure if you just work with it, it will. Yeah, as you can see there, it's a bit odd, but nonetheless. Moving on yet again to another G item. This one is the Pokédollar G. This one is the exact same thing. Honestly, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to reload. It does the exact same thing. Rivals Effect item, acts like a Lemonade. Big whoop. The next one here is an oak item, H. What's kind of sad is the next one is also just another oak item, another variation of like an H, similar to like the G's and the F's that we've been getting. The next item here is another one of those unterminated name glitch items, or simply a super glitch item, and its normal effects are suppressed right now, so that's why it's not crashing the game, so it just gives this little oak effect. I'll go more into that a little bit later. It just has to do with the tiles that are on screen, and I'll just leave it at that. This next item here, I just call it index 194 because you can see it's just another blob item. It's an oak item, so I can't really do much with it right now, but I'll show it in a later video, possibly, just because there's more that can be done with it. The same can be said for this one. It's another oak item, and there's more that can be done outside. You can see it's another H item. That's about all it's notable right now. Other than the fact that it's actually the last item on this Celadon Looping Map list. As you can see, I have the HMs now. HM01. If I go over here, I believe it's this tile. It's the TMs. And what's nice about this, once you make your way here, any Pokemon you have, you can just teach them whatever TM you want. Because you have all the TMs available to you, and just teach them whatever Pokemon you want. Make my way through here, gotta go to the end. I believe it's this tile here. This will be TM 50, and if you didn't know, there are 50 TMs in this game. So this is technically the last one, but if we go over here, we'll see that we have TM 51. And it's like, what the heck could this be? But it's just cut. So the HMs are just repeated, and if anything, it just tells us that the HMs might have been an afterthought, and originally it was just going to be TMs. So we have cut, we have fly, surf, strength, and then once we go over here, it loops, and we actually hit a wall, and we hit a glitch city, and there's really not much else we can do. So with that being the case, I'm going to show one more thing off. And that's the J item here. This is technically index 00, I said that earlier. And because of that, it's technically equal to 256, that's the reason why it shows up. And it will crash the game inside and outside of battle. Not very helpful, but apparently there's a more advanced uses it has, and I might get into that at a later time as well. But for now, we're going to see a few other things, and I'm going to load a state. Okay, now I'm going to go in a little bit more detail about the unterminated name glitch items, or the super glitch items. So the first one we have here, you can see, has a bit of a long name. And it's too bad the trade was cancelled. I'm not going to try and use it here because it's going to crash. If I go over here, we have some more of those 0x50 subtiles. And that actually allows us to open it right away, which is pretty handy. I still can't use it without crashing, but if I come over in this area, down here in Route 1, I'll find some more of those to where it sets up in a way where I can actually use it, like how I did in the Celadon Looping Map, because you don't happen to remember, it actually has a town map. And the reason why I got it to work is because where it was located was in that area. I'll even show you where it was. The area that allowed me to use it while I was in there, because I had those subtiles in there. See this area over here, and I'm pretty sure it was either like this tile or this one. It was one of these two, but you can see we have a whole bunch of those up in the upper left corner that allows us to use it. You can even see it in the name of the item. And I believe that's the reason why it works. Because otherwise, what it does is the name drags on because of the game's RAM, I'm pretty sure. And that's the problem, is it just goes on and it will crash the game. So like, for example, if I come over here, we have that long name again. And if I try to use it, well, this happens. And that's probably because of what we had with that one item. So I guess this is a bad example. This didn't happen the last time I tried this. So I guess that's an effect you can get in this area, which is interesting. Oh wow. Cool. I think on that note, I'll just show you from here to make it simple. Because using it from here will make the game crash. And that's another thing I meant to say, is that these items are based on location, and that's the reason why sometimes the name took a while to open and other times it didn't in the last two parts. That was part of the reason of showing that. Now I'm going to show you a different item, so I'll be right back. Now the one we have here is the new name item, and I should tell you it's index 170 because there's actually two of them that's called new name. The slight difference though is the name that shows up underneath it, because I'm pretty sure one's for like red and one's for blue, if you will. So like this one has Gary and I believe John, but the other one will have Ash and Jack, I believe. And so we can actually try and use it here, but it's just another oak item as we can see. But if I go somewhere else and try and use it, I think over here it gives like a TM trainer like effect, so let's try it. So yeah, the music will fade out and it'll do this. This should look kind of familiar from Pokemon Yellow if you've seen it. Let's see if I can find a location where I can maybe get some weird effects, like probably over here. Yeah, I just crashed, which is pretty lame. And I'll show you the other item that I had in mind. Alright, this item here should look familiar. The DHN hit 4 item, if you will. Another one of those super glitch items. What's nice about this one is this one seems functional. Like we can actually use it to get a pretty interesting effect. It still crashes, but just the way it goes about it's really strange. Like it reminds me of how AF acted in Pokemon Yellow when we were in the Celadon Looping Map. It's just kind of odd, and it's something I might look into a little bit more later. And now for the final item I'll show, it's going to be MP. And if you recall, I mentioned that this item can do different things based on location. I think it's all it has for us. But it's not as specific as the Super Glitch items. It only really plays 2 different themes that I can tell. It plays one when you're in the overworld, it plays one when you're in a dungeon, and a different one when you're in battle. So I'm going to show the dungeon one. I don't think there's any better place than Diglett's Cave. Moment of silence for Vermilion City's awesome theme. I think right here will work. As you can tell, it's a little bit different. Okay, there we go. I was saying it's supposed to end at some point. I wish it lasted longer though. I like that slowed down cave theme. I think it's pretty fitting. And for the last one, let's get into a battle after we run into a sign, because why not? That was nice and quick. This one's interesting. It should sound familiar if you've seen, I can't remember what part it is, but the one where I encountered some glitch Pokemon. As you can see, it's similar to that Pokédex entry. I think it was part 7 that had this. It was like 0.4 in HPoke. But this is all it really does. This one seems to go on and on. Like I waited for a little bit. I did it in BGB, so I couldn't use speed, but I think I sat here for like a minute and didn't really get anywhere. But that's really all I had planned for this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next one.